afternoon, Mrs. Jones. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Now, who do you have here with you?
Well, I brought my daughters today because they know what's going on with my hearing loss, and they, try to understand me. And I'm here today because, I don't want it to affect their lives as much as it's affecting mine. And sometimes I get down on myself for maybe being a burden to them.
Mom, you don't have to think that way. We just want you to be happy and be able to hear what's going on around you. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. And Dad is very willing to help too.
Miss Jones, it seems like you've got a great support system here. It's a really positive thing you have your family on board ready to help you so you can adapt to your environment. So we're going to be going over some communication strategies today to kind of better help you and your loved ones to improve your hearing in your everyday life. So what do you do in your spare time? Do you work?
Well, I work at the health department, and I communicate face-to-face with a lot of people in the community and in meetings with my coworkers. And my coworkers know I have hearing aids, but they don't understand sometimes how much I really struggle to hear them, and especially patients over the phone, because most of the time they're real distressed and, not calm at all. And some moms come in with their small children and, to receive their school shots, and their voices, both of their voices are just so low and soft that it's just so hard for me to hear them. And there are just so many noisy sounds going on around my desk, like that awful copy machine that sits right beside my desk, and I can't hear anything.
Well, those are definitely normal concerns that you have, so I don't want you to feel like you're singled out with your hearing issues. So today we're going to go over some ways to help you deal with all that, and we're going to talk about your work life a little bit later. Let's talk about your home life now. So how does your hearing affect you guys at home as a family?
I think that Mom has the hardest time when we're out to eat at restaurants. Like, she can never hear us because the background noise is so loud, and there's so many different people talking all at the same time. And the kitchen, there's pots and pans always going, and there's just a lot of noise in restaurants, but we love to go out to eat. It's one of our favorite things to do, and I feel like Mom can't enjoy it because, it's hard for her to hear it.
Yes, we love going out to eat together as a family. That's one of our favorite things, so I definitely want to be able to keep doing that.
All right, well, do you mind if I share some tips with you about ways you can improve your communication in settings like that?
Oh, sure. That'd be great. We need some improvements.
Good. All right, well, you just said one of your big concerns is going out to eat as a family, so we can start there. So some of these strategies that I have here may be really helpful for you for that. So one thing you can do is when you go to a restaurant like that, try to avoid sitting in the middle of the room or near the kitchen. Pick a spot in the corner if you can.
Now, why is that?
Well, if you sit in the middle of the room, you're going to have hearing, and you're going to have all these noisy things coming from all different sides from you. So if you can put yourself in the corner, you can, kind of seclude yourself and only hear what's around you in that area.
Okay, well, I think we can try to do that.
Yeah, that's an easy adjustment to make.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you have a preference for certain restaurants, but you may really do better in restaurants that have carpet too.
I think Longhorn has carpet. It's my favorite.
Well, I guess that counts out Cracker Barrel.
I think IHOP has carpet though.
Wow. There you go. You've got a solution to that. Now, if you do go somewhere without carpet, you can just do like I said and try to sit in the corner, because I don't want you to deprive yourself of your favorite places. So just try to work on some of those strategies as best you can, but don't deprive yourself.
Do you have any strategies that she could maybe work on for work? Because I know she really struggles to hear there.
Yeah, maybe you could talk to your boss. I know you said that copier was really loud. So one thing you could do that would really make a difference for you is maybe ask if you could relocate the copier, or maybe move to a cubicle that's further away from it and in a quieter environment.
Okay, well, I think I could do that. Like I said, they are aware of my hearing loss at work, so I think if I suggested moving it, that they'd be open to it.
Yeah, and I know it's hard for them at work to understand, because if you don't have a hearing loss yourself or know someone personally that has one, it's really hard to know what you go through on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, yes. That's very true. And sometimes even at my little church, I still have a fairly difficult time hearing what the pastor says.
Does he not have like a microphone or an amplification system that he uses?
Well, he has one, but sometimes he doesn't even use that or the microphone. But I'm real close with him, so I need to give him a hard time about using it, and because, I need the word and I need my Jesus time on Sundays, and that's just something I'm not willing to give up.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, you do not need to give up or suffer and not go to the things that you enjoy. You could even get there early to ensure that you get a seat on the front row. That way you have a good view of your preacher and then you can get your word in.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's just talk about some general strategies that you can implement in any situation to communication partners. One thing you could do is when you're talking to someone face to face, maybe remind them to maybe keep their hands away from their face and over their mouth.
I know I can sometimes have my hands in the way of my mouth. So that's something that I can work on when I communicate with you.
Okay, so I could just say to the other person, when you cover, up your mouth with your hand, it's hard for me to understand you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to speak up to your speaking partners because you need to let them know that you don't understand.
Okay.
And another thing you could do is make sure you have the speaker facing you. Sometimes it's easy to be facing in the other direction or turned around when someone's talking to you, but just remind them, hey, maybe turn around and look at me and I can hear you better that way.
I'm guilty of that one. Sometimes I get frustrated when I'm in the other room and I can't hear you and you can't hear me, but now I see the reason why that can be difficult for you.
Absolutely. That sound can become so drowned out if you're not facing the person that you're talking to. Also, Mrs. Jones, don't hesitate to ask someone to speak up and slow down when they're talking to you. And I know sometimes if you were to just say, I can't hear you, it's easy for the other person to just start talking louder because they think you just can't hear. But it's imperative to tell them to slow down, then they'll really enunciate their words and you can hear all those speech sounds.
Okay.
And one more thing for your home environment. Try to avoid carrying those conversations where there's a lot of background noise. Do y'all ever try to do that, like when the TV's on or the dishwasher's on or the washing machine?
Yeah, she has a really hard time hearing us when like the TV's on or if she's in the laundry room washing clothes. Like she really struggles to hear us. And I guess I didn't think about the background noise part. I just thought, she should be able to hear us because she has hearing aids.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing you could do is to maybe, if you've got a washer going in one room, just make sure you close that door. Or if you're in your kitchen where there's hardwood floors, remember that tip I told you about the carpet. Maybe move to your living room if you're going to have big conversations like that.
Okay.
Oh, yes, thank you. Those are good ones to work on at home because we have got an old washer and it makes a lot of noise banging around. And so we definitely need to close that door for sure to cut out that background noise.
Definitely. Those are really easy fixes that you probably don't think about, but they can really facilitate a smoother conversational setting when you're at home.
Okay, well, I feel better about the home now, don't you girls?
Yes, I think we can make it much better.
But, we've got the home part down, but I'm still really worried about hearing people better at work. Can we go over that some more?
Absolutely. Now, you said one of your biggest problems is hearing people over the phone or when you have patients that come in that are talking really soft and during meetings. Now let's go over the phone issue first. You can kind of use the same technique we talked about earlier when you make sure to tell the person to speak clearly. And even though it probably will be a stranger that you're talking to or guests that are coming into your work, don't be afraid to tell them that, hey, you need to maybe slow down or enunciate, that way I can help you today. And for those mothers who talk so softly, don't be afraid to kindly ask them to speak up too so that you can, do your job that day because you want to help them do what you're supposed to do.
Oh, yeah, but that makes me nervous. Sometimes I have very distraught patients who can't calm down enough to slow down.
Oh, well, if that's the case and you have someone who just really can't calm down, ask them to maybe simplify what they're telling you and maybe make it into shorter sentences. That way they'll cut out some of their extra talking. That way you can get the point they're trying to make easier.
Okay. Well, yeah, that is a good point, but what about for those meetings at work? I surely don't want to speak out and say something like that to my boss in front of a group of people.
I understand. But for that, I have another strategy for you. What's going to really help you with that kind of setting is being able to anticipate what's going to be happening in the setting that you're in. So you can do this a number of ways. You can, number one, arrive at the meeting early just to kind of get a view of the situation you're going to be in and get a seat near the front. And also, if you're not able to do that, or you could do this as a bonus, you could maybe ask your boss or someone to give you the minutes or a schedule of what you're going to be speaking about at the meeting. You can go over it beforehand. That way, you'll be prepared for the topics, and you won't be sitting there and not have a clue what's going on if you miss something.
Okay, well, I've never thought about that, asking for the minutes beforehand. Yeah, that'll help me stay on track with what they're talking about.
Yes. Now, I know some of these things may take a lot of effort and you might have to prepare ahead of time, but I think they're going to really help and you're going to notice a difference in your work environment. But I think we've covered all the main scenarios that you've been having issues with today, and I really hope you can implement these techniques into your home life and to your work experiences. Because I want you to make your whole life enjoyable, and I want you to not miss out on anything, including social outings and going to restaurants with your family.
Oh yes.
You deserve to enjoy life, and this hearing loss won't hinder you.
Nope, it won't stop me. I really hope these work. It'll just take some, adjusting, but I can't wait to enjoy life to the fullest again.
All right, well, do y'all have any questions before you head out today?
I don't think so, but thank you so much for telling us about our mom's hearing difficulties. We just didn't realize, how much trouble she was really having. So thank you, and thank you for giving us strategies to help her.
It's my pleasure. And Miss Jones, I want you to be doing these tactics, and I'm going to call you in a few weeks to check in and see how everything's going, okay?
All right, I'm going to get them to help me.
All right, y'all have a good day. Call me if you need anything.
Bye.